Hello everyone, I'm Kallol Dahal, and in today's class we are going to learn about the work and leisure from grade 9. So let's begin.
Unit 9 Work and Leisure. Reading 1 The Ant and the Grasshopper. When I was a very small boy, I was made to learn by heart certain of the fables of La Fontaine, and the moral of each was carefully explained to me. Among those I learnt was The Ant and the Grasshopper, which is devised to bring home to the young the useful lesson that in an imperfect world industry is rewarded and giddiness punished. In this admirable fable, the ant spends a laborious summer gathering its winter store, while the grasshopper sits on a blade of grass singing to the sun. Winter comes and the ant is comfortably provided for, but the grasshopper has an empty larder. He goes to the ant and begs for a little food. Then the ant gives him her classic answer: "What were you doing in summer time?" "Saving your presence, I sang. I sang all day, all night." "You sang. Why, then go and dance." I could not help thinking of this fable when the other day I saw George Ramsay lunching by himself in a restaurant. I never saw anyone wear an expression of such deep gloom. He was staring into space. He looked as though the burden of the whole world sat on his shoulders. I was sorry for him. I suspected at once that his unfortunate brother had been causing trouble again. I went up to him and held out my hand. "How are you?" I asked. "I'm not in hilarious spirits," he answered. "Is it Tom again?" He sighed. "Yes, it's Tom again." "Why don't you chuck him? You have done everything in the world for him. You must know by now that he is quite hopeless. I suppose every family has a black sheep. Tom had been a sore trial to him for 20 years. He had begun life decently enough. He went into business, married, and had 2 children. The Ramsays were perfectly respectable people, and there was every reason to suppose that Tom Ramsay would have a useful and honorable career. But one day, without warning, he announced that he didn't like work and that he wasn't suited for marriage. He wanted to enjoy himself. He would listen to no expostulations. He left his wife and his office. He had a little money and he spent 2 happy years in the various capitals of Europe. Rumors of his doings reached his relations from time to time, and they were profoundly shocked. He certainly had a very good time. They shook their heads and asked what would happen when his money was spent. They soon found out. He borrowed. He was charming and unscrupulous. I have never met anyone to whom it was more difficult to refuse a loan. He made a steady income from his friends, and he made friends easily. But he always said that the money you spent on necessities was boring. The money that was amusing to spend was the money you spent on luxuries. For this, he depended on his brother George. He did not waste his charm on him. George was a serious man and insensible to such enticements. George was respectable. Once or twice he fell to Tom's promises of amendment and gave him considerable sums in order that he might make a fresh start. On these, Tom bought a motor car and some very nice jewelry. But when circumstances forced George to realize that his brother would never settle down and he washed his hands of him, Tom, without a qualm, began to blackmail him. It was not very nice for a respectable lawyer to find his brother shaking cocktails behind the bar of his favorite restaurant, or to see him waiting on the box seat of a taxi outside his club. Tom said that to serve in a bar or to drive a taxi was a perfectly decent occupation, but if George could oblige him with a couple of £100, he didn't mind for the honor of the family giving it up. George paid. Once, Tom nearly went to prison. George was terribly upset. He went into the whole discreditable affair. Really, Tom had gone too far. He had been wild, thoughtless, and selfish. But he had never before done anything dishonest by which George meant illegal, and if he were prosecuted, he would assuredly be convicted. But you cannot allow your only brother to go to jail. The man Tom had cheated, a man called Cronshaw, was vindictive. He was determined to take the matter into court. He said Tom was a scoundrel and should be punished. It cost George an infinite deal of trouble and £500 to settle the affair. I have never seen him in such a rage as when he heard that Tom and Cronshaw had gone off together to Monte Carlo the moment they cashed the cheque. They spent a happy month there. So this is a story not just about the ant and the grasshopper, but the incident where the story of the ant and the grasshopper fits perfectly. Now let's go to the exercises. Choose appropriate words from the box below to replace the colored words in the given sentences. If your talent combines with diligence, you can excel in your field. So here, you need to replace the red word with the words given over here. So you can consult the text, read it, and then do this exercise as your homework. Similarly, you know how the story goes, so put the following sentences from the story in the correct order. And question answer. Do both of these as your homework. Now, grammar 1. Fill in the gaps with the correct form of have, get, or make. Did they make you give a speech on behalf of the group? Instead of buying a new car, why don't you get the old one fixed? So in this way, and consulting the table given above in A, I hope you'd be able to do the remaining exercises of B. So this is your homework again. Another similar exercise, rewrite the sentences with have, get, or make. I painted my house last week. I had my house painted last week. She will ask her sister to light the lamp. She made her sister light the lamp. Or she had her sister to light the lamp. Or she got her sister to light the lamp. I'm going to ask the dentist to fill my teeth. I made my dentist fill my teeth, or I got my dentist to fill my teeth. So you can use any and use it correctly. Please do these as your homework. Reading 2. Leisure. What is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep and cows. No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, how can they dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes began. A poor life this, if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. So this poem talks about the leisure time that we have, but what is the use of that leisure time if we do not enjoy the nature? I hope you have understood the poem. Now let's go to the exercises. Match the words with their meanings. Stare, to look at somebody or something for a long time. Beneath, under something or somebody. Woods, an area of trees. Enrich, to improve the quality of something. Glance, to look quickly at somebody or something. Question answers have been given here. You can find the answer in the text, consult it, and do it. Now grammar 2. Change the following sentences into passive voice. Someone is helping her with the housework. She is being helped with the housework. We do not need to write by someone because we don't know who that person is. So, she is being helped with the housework. The mail order company sent him a parcel. A parcel was sent to him by the mail order company. You can consult the table given over here in A and do the exercise in B. So question number B is going to be your homework. Now, fill in the blanks with the correct passive forms of the verbs in the brackets. The mayor inaugurated a sports center in our town last week. The facility is believed to be one of the largest in the country, and experts hope that it will be visited by thousands of amateur and professional athletes over the course of the next few years. So we just need to be sure about the form of the verbs, whether it's happening in the present or in the future, and then use it in the correct passive form. I hope you'd be able to do this as well. So with that, we come to the end of today's class. How did you find it? If you have any suggestions or advice or complaints, you can get back to us at learning@dearwalk.edu.np. So until the next class where we bring another unit, have fun and goodbye.